Hello children, myself Rajendra Kamath, PGT, Saraswati Shisu Vidya Mandir Senior Secondary School, Dakra, Ranchi, Jharkhand. First of all, I would like to thank all of you who are watching this video. Next, I would like to thank our mother institution, Vidya Vikas Samiti, Ranchi, Jharkhand. And the last but not least, I would like to thank our Honorable Principal Sir, Mr. Gopal Mr. Viskarma. This video is the result of his encouragement. Children, we often used to talk about women empowering. Still the condition of women, not even in India, but all over the world, is not very good. You know, we always used to say women is an essential part of our society. Still, the society is dominated by the men. And the point which I am going to teach you today indicates this fact. Now I am going to teach a poem on Jennifer Tiger of class 12 CBSE. So, child, let's begin the class. See. First of all, I would like to show the stages of the poem as given here in this cardboard, you can say here. At first, I will tell you what the poet Henry Rich had written in this poem. Actually, Henry Rich was an American poet, essayist and feminist, you can say here. Whatever written by the poet, especially for the women. And in this poem, we also see how deeply he put in all of his effort to highlight the miserable condition of women, not only in India but all over the world. Now see the line of first stanza, a point on Jennifer Tigers. Aunt Jennifer Tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree. They pace in sleek, seawardly certainty. Children, first of all, when we used to study some poem, the first thing which must notice, that is the rhyming scheme of the poem. And here, if you see the poem, you can see very clearly the last rhyming word is here, screen, and the second one, a screen. The third line ends with tree, and finally the fourth line of the first stanza ends with certainty. If you see here, you can clearly notice, if you assume screen as A, then both the word sound same. So, and the next two lines, that is tree and certainty, have the same sounds also. So if you assume these two as A and this one as B, then the rhyming scheme of this stanza is AABB. And this is not can be seen only in the first stanza. You will see it even in the second stanza, AABB, and the same as in the third stanza, AABB. Now, dear children, you know very well, the literal meaning of a stanza is quite different than the actual meaning which the poet wants to convey by the help of his or her poem. Here we clearly see this poem indicates so many things. We will discuss it later on the blackboard. But first of all, I would like to discuss two things here. First of all, the literary device. You know, literary device plays a very important role for the creation of a poem. See, the first literary device which has been used here by the poet is anaphora. Anaphora, you know. See, if you see this line, they do not fear the man. Again, you will see the second, they pace in slick seawardly. Here, they do not, they pace. The same word repeated consequently in two lines. That's why the poet has used here the literary device anaphora. The second one, if you notice here, word is used as topaz. You know what the meaning of topaz here actually? If you see here, the topaz is a bright yellow colored stone. It is a precious stone, you know, having color yellow. The poet has used this word topaz. Why? Because the poet wants to compare here the color of the tiger embroidered by Aunt Jennifer on the cloth with the color of topaz. So you can say that the poet has used here the literary device metaphor. No, what is the metaphor actually? Metaphor is a literary device which is used by the poet to compare directly with something. For example, I want to say you one line. Listen it carefully. He rose in the battle. He rose in the battle. He is a man. He is a person. How can he roar? Still the poet has used here. He rose in the battle. It means that the poet compares the man with the lion, but without any helping words. He directly compared the man with the lion, and that's why he used the word here. He roars in the battle. Similarly, the topaz, which is bright yellow color, is directly used by the poet here in this stanza to compare the color of the tiger. Actually, this tiger was embroidered by the Aunt Jennifer. Now, we'll take a look on the points one by one of this first stanza with the help of blackboard. So please come with me. Now, dear children, the first stanza says what? See point once. The first point, Aunt Jennifer is embroidering a piece of cloth. Aunt Jennifer was embroidering a piece of cloth, and the pattern shows tigers who are moving and jumping around all over the fabric. What she was embroidering here actually? She was embroidering a tiger. The tiger which is prancing. What the meaning of prancing here? You can take a look here. Prance, walk or move around with high springy skips. You can say it is a kind of jump. A tiger is jumping over the tree like that. And while Aunt Jennifer was trying to embroider the tiger only, not other animals. It is clearly mentioned in this poem. Take a look. They are bright yellow in color, like topaz. As I stated just few minutes ago, the poet has stated topaz to compare the color of the tiger. So topaz is a metaphor used here in this first stanza. Now see the next point. They are proud and fearless. They are proud and fearless. Who are proud and fearless? The tiger, which has been embroidered on a piece of cloth by Aunt Jennifer, is a fearless animal. You know, fearless. How much fear? How much fearless? The tiger is here. If you see the line here, they don't fear the man beneath the tree. The tiger is so fearless, the tiger do not get scared with the men who were beneath the trees. What is the need of describing tiger as a fearless? There is a vision, but there is a contrast also. What is the contrast? Take a look. Here is a contrast between aunt and her creation. Clearly, if you see all this point, then you can conclude here so many things about Aunt Jennifer. Actually, when we talk about women, we feel very proud that we always give respect to them, but in fact, it is not quite true. Even not in India only, but all over the world, wives are dominated by their husbands. And in fact, wives have not so much freedom as husbands have in this world. Husbands can enjoy their life outside the home, but every wife, I think so, most of the wives of this world, of different countries, have to spend most of their time in their house. Even they had lot of wishes like Aunt Jennifer, but still they can't go outside the home according to their own wish. And it is clearly mentioned in the second stanza, and we will see it soon. But before that, I want to say one thing here. The creation which was being made here by Aunt Jennifer clearly stated that she was not happy at all with her life. She wanted freedom. Why? So many reasons are there. The creation of a tiger clearly indicated that she wanted to live a life just like a tiger, but she can't. Now take a look on the second stanza here. What is the second stanza? See here. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. Find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. See guys, a very important stanza of this point, the second stanza is. If you will notice, the poet has used here alliteration. Alliteration. The F sound repeated, finger fluttering, fingers fluttering. Both the word begins with the letter F here. Now you can ask me question, what is alliteration? See, alliteration is a literal device, you can say here, which is especially used by the poet to create some atmosphere by repeating the same letter in the same line of a stanza. So the literary device which has been used here by Adrian Rich is clearly alliteration, and you can notice it very easily, fingers fluttering here. Now guys, if you will notice, what is the condition of Aunt Jennifer's in this stanza? Take a look here. Her fingers fluttering. Her fingers fluttering. If you notice here, fluttering. To move in a quick, irregular motion as if being agitated. As it being agitated. Even the ivory needle hard to pull. Now you can ask me, ivory needle is a very lightweight. Then why Aunt Jennifer was feeling very hard to pull it out the cloth? Reason is there. See the next slide. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band. Now it is quite amazing. The poet has used here massive Uncle's wedding band. Massive. How much massive? A ring. You can say it weighed only few grams only. Then why the poet has used here the massive weight? Regions are there. What are the regions? Take a look on the blackboard. Actually, you will notice here, Aunt tigers are trembling. Aunt fingers are trembling with the fear of her husband. See, guys, one notice here, her husband with the fear of her husband. Fear. What is the use of fear here? The fear. This word clearly indicates that Aunt Jennifer was not happy with her husband, with her marriage life. Her fingers are so tired of working endlessly all her life. Aunt Jennifer had a lot of responsibility of households. She woke up in the morning, worked all the day, even at one part of night. She didn't have any rest throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. It means that she was not happy of her stay in her family, and that's why she needed some freedom like her husband, which she never got in her life. And that's why the responsibilities, the liabilities imposed on her by her husband made her to feel a burden. Even the ring, which could have been a matter of happiness for her because it was gifted to her by her husband, has become a burden for her. And this burden was so massive that even she can't move her fingers smoothly. And that's why she was feeling a lot of depression all the time. The needle is also very heavy for her to pull out of the rope. See, the needle and heavy. Needle is not very heavy. Needle has a very less weight you can say here, but the point is stated here, a needle is very heavy. Why? I have clearly mentioned here, the weight of the needle is not actual the weight. It was the weight of the liabilities, the responsibilities. In short, in other words, you can say that she was being tortured by her husband. Why? Because whatever she wanted to do, her husband never allowed her to do that. He always tried to impose his orders on his wife, and this made her wife very, very unhappy in the life. Now see the guys here, the lady is dependent on her husband. Nowadays, I always used to say children, every girl tries to get higher education. Why? Because it is quite necessary that they should also stand on their feet. It can make them independent. This is the main reason of suppression. This is the main reason of depression. And this is the main reason of exploitation of a woman in this world. If a woman is self-dependent, I am sure nobody will go there to torture her. But Aunt Jennifer is a helpless creature here because she was completely dependent on her husband. She has been living a demanding life due to which she was born out in her old age. She was living a demanding life. Now you can imagine here, she was living a demanding life. Why? Because whatever she wanted to get, she had to wait for her husband. Whatever she wanted to do, she had to wait for her husband. She could not take a decision of her own. Every decision taken in her family only by her husband. And all these things made her very unhappy. And the poet had very beautifully, very clearly, very sharply mentioned this state of mind and body of her Aunt Jennifer in this stanza. So the guys, now we will move the third stanza of this beautiful poem. See, take a look of the third stanza. When aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie. Still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. See, in this stanza, the poet has again used a literary device, that is alliteration. And you can see the word prancing, proud. Prancing, proud. Prancing, proud. the two words begin with P. So the alliteration has been used in this point, having the same rhyming scheme AABB. And finally, the poet concluded what Aunt Jennifer wanted in her life. See again this point. When aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ring with ordeals she was mastered by. The tiger in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. See, one new word is here, ordeal. Extremely severe taste or experience. Severe experience, severe. Why? See, take a look at the point, stanza 3. Her wish to live a free, fearless life is indicated by her choice of design tiger. She wanted to live a happy life. She wanted to live a free life. She wanted to live her life on her terms and conditions, not by the path shown by her husband. And that's why she was trying here to create a beautiful picture of a tiger on a cloth by the help of ivory needle. So the tiger which is created by Aunt Jennifer is the symbol which says here, which represents her state of mind, what kind of feelings she had, what she wanted in her life. See, probably her ordeal will end upon her death. A very important line, guys, notice this. Probably her ordeal will end upon her death. She wanted to free a happy life, but now she is dead. She had been buried under the ground. Still, she had the ring, which is massive, banned for her in her finger. And this shows here that even after the death, her desire, her wish had not been fulfilled. Even after the death, she was feeling the burden of her husband, of her society, you can say here, clearly. It means that her ordeals will end upon her death. Whatever the experiences she had in her real life, she is witnessing again after the death. Why? Because the society had not allowed to move that ring from her fingers. It was the custom. Like you can say in India, women have to show they are married or not by indicating something. For example, if you go in India, the married woman had to put vermilion on their forehead. This shows here that she is married or not. But there is no anything, there is no any burden, there is no any rule or regulation for the male figure that he is married or not to show. But in India, and not in India only, but most of the part of the country, the women had to show and will have to show forever that they are married or not. See, in this point, Aunt Jennifer had a ring on her finger, which she had still under the grave, and that's why she was feeling that she was not happy, she was not fearless, she was not living her life according to her own term and condition, even under the grave. So miserable situation is there with Aunt Jennifer. You can clearly see here. Her frightened, shaking fingers will be put to rest, but still, after her death, her desire of freedom remain alive. See a very important line here. After her death, her desire of freedom remain alive. It means that even after the death, what she wanted to achieve in real life, she couldn't achieve. Now, the guys, you have seen here There are three strangers at this point. Aunt Jennifer's tigers. And the main point of all these strangers had already been written on the blackboard point-wise. If you want, you can pause this video and take a screenshot and note down in your copy. So guys, you can see the screen clearly here once again, and then I will tell you something about this point, which is maybe different of the opinions of different teachers. See, as we know that a point has not a certain nucleus. A point has not a certain nucleus, and that's why it is unfair to say that what I am describing in this video is 100% correct, because it can be narrated, it can be explained in some different ways also. A point which meaning is dependent on the thinking power of a man, and what I am explaining, it is the creation of my mind. So I will request you, always try to read the lines of the point one by one. One by one. If you have any problem, then you should consult your dictionary to find some literal meaning of the given words. But remember one thing, the word meaning which you see in the dictionary maybe not tell you the exact meaning of that point, because maybe the word which has been used in the point have some different meaning, and it depends on the thinking of the point here clearly. So this is very nice point written by Andrini Sally Rich. And why this is a very fine point? Because it has a certain style of writing, and the point has beautifully carved this point on the paper, having few lines only. Still, point is very successful to convey the message to the readers. Now, if you will ask, what is the message actually the point wants to give with this point? The message is very clear. The message is very clear. As you know that Omen is the creator of this world. All of us who are surviving on this world have been reproduced by the woman. And the woman who is so honorable, the woman who give birth to us, still we hate them, still we torture them, still we do not respect them properly. This is not fair, guys. That's why the poet wants to convey a very beautiful message with this point. In every country, in every part of the world, women must be respected. Women must be given all the privileges which a male figure have in this world. And think, if a woman have the same right, same privilege, same freedom, how beautiful this world was at that time. How beautiful the world will be in future. So guys, this is a small message which Andrini Rich wants to convey with the help of this poem, that women are the form of God. Even in India, we worship Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Durga. So many goddesses are there. All are women. And we worship, we venerate them. Why then? The women of India and some other countries are not being respected like the male figure. Why all the decisions are being taken by the male figure only? A woman must have the right to take decision according to the situation, because a vehicle can move properly only if all of the wheels are in good condition. Any of the wheel of a vehicle is punctured or is useless, then in that condition the vehicle will not move properly. Remember this thing, guys. Now we conclude here that lot of question can be asked here. What kind of question generally asked in the board exams? See, when we used to read a poem, then we first think, when we read the stanza of a poem, we should try to think what kind of question would be given in the board exams. Remember one thing, long type of questions basically not given in the question paper. Always short type of questions are provided here. For example, who is the part of this poem? What kind of literary device used in the stanza? Explain who has told this thing or that thing, like that question. So I will always request anyone that you should read the poem clearly. You should read the stanza clearly and try to make some questions which may be short type or long type, and you should try to answer the questions. This is the way of getting very good marks in board exams only. So guys, I think I have tried my best to explain the poem in a very shortest way, and I hope that if you will hear or see the video again and again, then what I want to convey here, I want to say to you, you may understand clearly. So we will soon meet with some other point of class 12 in the next video, and with that, now I want to take permission of yours to stop this video here. So goodbye student, we'll meet soon. Thank you.